Today we're going to do a little remix, the Rum Barrel Remix by Doc Parks, and this recipe is featured in the Minimalist Tiki book. I thought it'd be fun to highlight at least one modern recipe, and there's not a lot of publicly available rum barrel recipes out there. Now, Doc Parks was here way back in March, and if only I had the foresight to ask him about the origin of his rum barrel.
You know, we had just shut down Zombie Village, and at the moment didn't know when we were going to reopen. And so my thought for my rum barrel remix was to simplify it. And I wanted to kind of like, you know, maybe pull a few ingredients out to make it a little easier to make.
I also asked Doc about where to start when you're making your own rum barrel and what's the most important aspect of a rum barrel.
You know, I've had a lot of rum barrels in my life, and you know, obviously some are better than others. I think that strength is important. You really want the rums to be bold. It's called a rum barrel. So I guess in that way, you want to make sure the rum shines.
Yeah.
But the layers are super important for that cocktail. And so that's where I, you know, look at how you can, you know, use what you have or make some ingredients that might make that cocktail that much better.
And make some ingredients is what we will do. The recipe calls for Gold Fashionola, and it's a mix of passion fruit and white peach. I'll share the recipe that is highlighted in the Minimalist Tiki book, but I'm making a few adjustments to match how I usually make syrups, and I'm pretty confident that they'll come out close to the same, at least in flavor. But white peaches are harder to find right now, and they were like $6 for a pound, so I didn't want to mess anything up. So to make the Gold Fashionola, I took 200 grams of freshly cut or diced up white peaches and added them to a vacuum bag. Next, I took an equal amount of sugar, so 200 grams, and added that to the bag, sealed it. Now you're going to want to wait 24 to 48 hours. Now, this way of making syrups is very easy to do. Just take equal parts sugar and fruit and put it in a vacuum bag, or you could just use a Ziploc bag and suck out all of the air with a straw. Truthfully, you don't really need a vacuum here, but it's a little bit more efficient. You'll get good results in just a Ziploc bag and mixing them up occasionally. Now, Doc's recipe calls for 3/4 cups of white peach and half a cup of passion fruit. And since this white peach is already a syrup, which I did intentionally, I'll just use passion fruit syrup as well. Now, the way I'm doing it, I'm going to take this peach syrup and strain it. Then I'm going to take the weight of that peach syrup and I'm going to multiply that by 0.66. And that's how much passion fruit I need to add to roughly equal the ratios of Doc's recipe. Now, this batch came out to 260 grams of syrup, so I'll multiply by 0.66, which is 171.6 grams. Now I'll add that much passion fruit to the peach syrup, and it's so close, just off barely. Now, my syrup ended up at 55 bricks, and I'm guessing off of Doc's recipe, maybe just a little bit. I'm just assuming his is between like 55 and 66. That's like a 2-to-1 rich level sweetness. And you could adjust yours with sugar, but I'm just going to leave this as it is and use it like it is. Like I said, there's an easier way to do this if you want to use cups and use a white peach puree and passion fruit puree. And I'll leave that in this episode's description along with the one I just shared. For this one, you'll need lime juice, pineapple juice, falernum, Gold Fashionola, allspice dram, plantation dark, OFTD, and an aged Jamaican rum. Now, Doc's recipe has the specific and exact rums to use. It calls for plantation dark and plantation OFTD. It also calls for Hamden 46, which I don't have. That's an aged Jamaican rum from Hamden. And I kind of asked around. I asked our Minder at the Rum Revival, as well as the Make and Drink Discord, for some replacements and got some good advice, whether it's Smith & Cross or a mix of something else, maybe Appleton and Rumfire. But I just didn't want to think about it too much. It's kind of in the background here. So I just wanted to keep it in the Planta something family. So I'm going to use Plantation Zymaca to have that sort of pot still flavor. And if you want to increase the ABV a little bit, you could just bump this up with a bar spoon, maybe even a 1/4 ounce of Rumfire. That's what I'm going to do. So let's make the Rum Barrel remix. And in a drink mixer tin, I'm going to start with 3/4 ounces of lime juice, 2 ounces of pineapple juice, 1 bar spoon of Velvet Falernum, half an ounce of our Gold Fashionola, 1/4 ounce of allspice dram, 1.5 ounces of Plantation Dark, 1 ounce of an aged Jamaican rum, and 1.5 ounces of OFTD. So there you go, the Rum Barrel Remix. All right, let's try it. It's plenty boozy. I mean, Doc managed to kind of shrink all of the contents or the volume of a lot of the other ingredients, a lot of the juices, but we still get tons of rum in the rum barrel. And I made a little executive decision there. I just used 1 bar spoon of rum fire, which I think is fine. For me, that's fine. I can still taste it. It's just sort of intensifying that like high ester Jamaican funk. The pineapple juice offers a lot of sweetness, and we got a full 2 ounces, but that's not really squashing any of the other ingredients. You can still get maybe just hints of the allspice dram, but you can taste that fashionola. And if you go to the trouble to make this fashionola, there are other uses in the book for the gold fashionola. Plus, you could make any cocktail that really calls for passion fruit or a fashionola. You can make yourself a hurricane with that as well. So it's an excellent addition to the rum barrel universe. If you don't want to be doing 10, 12 plus ingredients, this one has 8, I think. So if you want to just pare things down a little bit and still make a delicious rum barrel, then also just play around with the different rums and rums that you like. But plenty of booze here with so much of that OFTD, as well as, 2.5 ounces of other rums in here. It's not skipping on the rum at all. So that's it for this one. I'm Derek. This is Make and Drink. There's just one more rum barrel left to go. What's it going to be? I'm not going to tell you yet. If you want to pick up these lanterns, I'll put a link to them for the Etsy store where they sell these. And if you want these straws, you can save with the discount code that's also in this episode's description. It's from Surfside Sips. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you want to support this channel more, check out the Patreon page from the link right below. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one.